Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. My name is Karen, and I'm with CK Customs PA. I'm also an admin on Facebook for Cricut Help Desk Unofficial, and we've been doing live classes. This is our ninth, I think, live class on Monday. So we're just kind of continuing on. Today we're going to discuss Partnered HTV. What it is, what it looks like, how you cut it, what do you do with that clear paper that came with it, or maybe yours did not come with it, and what does that mean? A discussion on Partnered HTV. There are several different types of Partnered HTV. All the major manufacturers have their own line of them. Caesar has it, Specialty Materials has it, in their Thermoflex series. Places like Heat Transfer Warehouse have their own house brand. Cricut has them. So you can find lots of patterned HTVs. I have, some here that we're gonna look at. I have some more here that we're gonna look at. So what is patterned HTV? So really, it's an HTV, so a heat transfer vinyl. That you press onto anything you would put a heat transfer vinyl on. So onto a garment, onto a bag, a hat. Some people are putting HTV onto wood. So it's just like your plain HTV, but they print a pattern onto them. But because of the printing process, sometimes you have to handle them a little bit differently. So let's look at, let's start, I guess, with cutting. So, with cutting your regular HTV, so I have a piece of white here. The rule of thumb they always say is shiny side down. So here's my shiny side. I'm trying to catch the light with this. And you put that down on your mat, and you mirror your design for your cut. And what's really happening is that shiny side is your carrier sheet. And the side that's up that you're then cutting through is the vinyl itself. And what you really need to start getting used to, and it's going to be important as you get into the patterns and things like that, is really the feel of the vinyl versus the feel of your carrier sheet. Let's switch so you guys can see this a little bigger. So there's a feel to the vinyl, almost more of a rubbery, where the carrier sheet is more plastic. And you're going to want to start to just kind of help you identify that, because as you then move to your pattern vinyl, this one, my pattern is on the outside, and my shiny side, my carrier, is on the back, but you need to cut this one not mirrored because your design is upward, whereas on your plain vinyls you're actually cutting into the back of the vinyl. Here you're cutting into the front of the vinyl, so you get the feel that the design is up and you need to just cut it normal without mirroring. Now this one is the same way, where my design is upward. I wouldn't mirror it. Shiny side still goes down. Trying to catch the light there. Shiny side still goes down, but you wouldn't mirror these ones. Same with this one. But some more recent patterns and some of the manufacturers have started actually coming out with the vinyl the other way for patterned. So for this one, the back is like the back of regular HTV, and my side of my design is actually covered by a shiny carrier sheet. And you can see there's a lot of shine on this one because of that. But again, the feel is really kind of what helps give that away. So because this one has a carrier over the design, you'd cut this one like you would a regular HTV. So shiny side down, but now you have to mirror this one. So let's compare. All right. Shiny side. Shiny side. So shiny down. Shiny down. Just gonna get these in camera for you guys. So if both of the shinies are down, you can see why this one you would mirror, this one you would not, because of where the design is printed. So I have some others. So on this one, you can see that that shine not coming off my light there versus the back. So this would be a shiny side down, but then you'd have to mirror it because your design is not showing. It's not the proper side of your design. So the lesson there is kind of get to know the feels of your vinyl. Feels more rubbery, feels more plasticky, to know where that carrier sheet is, to then know which way to put it down and which way to cut. So with the ones that you're cutting in reverse, mirroring, treat those the same as you do your plain vinyl. Here's a plain piece of white. So you cut it, you weed it, you take it to your press, you have your carrier sheet. Those ones are kind of more standard that you're used to with the HTV. If we come back to these ones that you don't mirror, you have to do a few extra steps. So, I've got 3 of them here. So if you cut your design and you didn't mirror it, it's now face up, you have to have a way to get it onto your garment. The backing is not the carrier that you want to put on your heat press. So, you'll cut it and you'll weed it, so you're left with just your design on the backing. They then have carrier sheets that you use to put the design onto. So this is similar to the concept of when you're creating an adhesive decal design and you have to put it onto a carrier to then move it onto your item. So they sell them in sheets, rolls, and they're reusable. So this piece, for instance, I've used numerous times. You just peel it off of its backing. So this is now the carrier. You lay it onto the design that you've weeded. You know, push it down with your squeegee. Flip it over, and you'll have your design on here. And you'll peel the backing from the design, off from the HTV. So make sure you get the back off of those. Because sometimes, if your machine was cutting a little too deep and it actually cut through fully on the back, that backing doesn't go onto the garment. You have to make sure you peel that off after you get it onto your carrier sheets. So some of the pattern vinyls, when they sell them, will come with those carriers, and some will not, so you could buy those separately. I know, for instance, at Michael's, some of the brands will roll them up and put them inside of that cardboard tube. Some of the websites just ship them with the pattern vinyl. Some you have to purchase separately. They call them different things depending upon the brand. And they have different tack levels, so you'll kind of get a feel for them and which ones you like. So some call them TTD masks, some call them KTM masks. If you're really in a bind and you do not have one, you can use a carrier sheet from a regular piece of vinyl. So if you have a piece of vinyl that you've, an HTV piece of vinyl that you've pressed and you pulled off the carrier sheet, you can save some of those, put a piece of parchment paper on them and save them, and then use them with the patterned HTV. The only one that you wouldn't want to use there's probably a few. You wouldn't want to use one that had glitter HTV on it because there's still glitter flecks. Probably the same thing with flock. So just, you know, you want a clean piece is really what's important. But yeah, you can use them either from, like I said, from a piece of HTV that you previously laid, from the different, you know, TTD, KTM, all the different masks that the various manufacturers sell them with. So basically that becomes your carrier sheet like the regular HTV would have had. So you put that onto your heat press with your garment. Temps and times will vary, so check with where you bought the patterned HTV because some of them have some pretty explicit instructions. And oftentimes the temperatures are pretty different than just your standard HTV temperature, whether significantly lower or significantly higher. Either way, always have your instruction sheets. I mean, typically if I'm buying a new patterned vinyl from somewhere I haven't bought it from, at the same time that I'm buying it, I'll just print out the page description because that typically has your press information on it. Make sure everybody had a good understanding of the patterned vinyls. You know, sometimes they can be a little more tricky with the nuances of do you mirror it, do you not. So get used to the feel of what is the actual vinyl piece versus the carrier piece. Because like I said, this one you would not mirror. This one you would mirror. So you just have to get used to those. And then some of them have like directional patterns. So for instance, this one, you know, has lines going across. And they have reindeer in them. Meaning you're not going to want a reindeer, you know, crooked or on its head. Do you see little trees in here? Might be some little trees in here. So be smart when you're using some of the pattern vinyls as to, you know, what is going to actually stay in the design. You know, a real thin font using this probably is not going to look so great. Whereas you could do a font with something like this and you would see it do an ombre effect across or vertically, whichever direction you put it. Now, if you put it diagonal to cut it, you're going to have a diagonal ombre. So just be aware of that with your patterns too, that some may be more directional than others. This one, you could probably go any direction. Wouldn't make much difference. But yeah, something like with stripes, I have plaids and things like that. They're going to affect your design. You know, how much of that are you going to see? Thanks for watching our video to learn a little bit about patterned HTV. Please like our video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Happy crafting!